With what we've seen from terrorist acts in the past years, we see it's more like a guerrilla war rather than a conventional war. But we could see here the use of warships and the use of the Air Force. How is this? Looks to me, and I'm very little experienced, looks to me like an all-out warfare exercise rather than countering some guerrillas.
Well, I think we're building on the scenarios that we see out there. One of the things that I would just remind our viewers of is, as the United States and the coalition that is fighting the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, this is a terrorist organization that actually has for several years now operated like an army, and so we've had to approach them in that way. So the operations that we just completed in Mosul, these were large-scale operations that involved all kinds of things, and in some cases it looked like conventional operations as opposed to the more discrete counterterrorism operations. So I think it's important to understand that these violent extremist organizations take on different forms. Certainly what we may see in the Sinai or in Afghanistan is different, and so we have to adapt to it. So I think this is the value of these exercises, is being able to look at different situations and how we adapt our forces to fight in these particular situations. So as we move forward in this exercise, and we've already started talking about our next version of this exercise, we'll adapt this, and we'll try to keep it as relevant as we can to the situations that we're dealing with. We simply don't have enough special operations forces to do everything, so we do have to rely on our conventional force capability.
And I don't want to drag you into politics, I know I shouldn't, but are you suspecting, or looking at from a military perspective, are you suspecting things to be worsening, for example, in Libya and the transfer of the ISIS troops or guerrillas into Libya, and that could be a source of fear not only for countries like Egypt but also for Southern Europe?
Well, I think that is a concern. What I would share with you is that it's our strategy, the coalition strategy, whether it's in Iraq or Syria or in Yemen or in Afghanistan. It is to annihilate this enemy at that location and not allow them to go other places. So we don't want to. Even
though what we hear is that many of them are leaking into Libya.
Yeah, I'm sure there may be some of that, but frankly, it's not as wide scale as it might be reporting. I think what you may be seeing is that fighters who perhaps had intended to go to Iraq or Syria now find it very difficult to get there because of the situation. So they're going to other places in this case. And so I think this highlights how important it is that the exercises like we're doing in Bright Star, and how we have to develop relationships between all of our partners out here to do this. The United States is as powerful as we like to believe we are, can't do this ourselves. We depend on regional partners and others out here to help us do this, and I think it's vice versa. We really have to work together against this threat, and that's really what we're trying to do, is build a very strong network of willing and capable partners out there who can share information, who can conduct operations, and who can really keep the pressure on these extremist networks.
From an expert point of view, Egypt has an issue of having more than 1,000 kilometers of borders to the west, more than 1,000 to the south, in addition to the ones we're having with the Palestinians, with Gaza. What is the best way, and the United States has, of course, the experience of long borders as well. What is the way in order to do it, in order to safeguard those borders?
Yeah, I think the best way to do this is to ensure that we have some plans, we have facilities, we have mechanisms that allow us to share information and understand what's happening in all areas. So, as you know, there's coalitions working to the east and to the west, and so it's very, very important, I think, that we have a mechanism where we can share information to ensure that the Egyptian authorities and others who are involved in this have the best situational understanding of what is happening, so that when we do apply our very finite military capabilities, that we can be as precise and accurate as we can. So I think this is the key aspect of it. I would also comment that your lead in there, I think, highlights the importance of Egypt in this. Egypt sits at a critical location here with challenges on both their east and west flank, and so they really are really very, very key to this fight. And so this partnership that we've had for so many years, and the things we're doing now, in my mind, are just even magnified, and it's more important now than at any time in the past, I believe.